Good to see you, lad. Despite the circumstances. Remember your training out there. The pain of death is but another obstacle.
And fear is for the weak. Take care, Achilles.
Keep at it, lad. I've known great men throughout my life, and I can always tell when someone's better than their circumstances. Fight like I'd fight out there.
I'll give them hell as you once did, Achilles. Though doubtless many of the shades who stand against me first arrived in Tartarus because of you. Achilles, is it really true that Cerberus ripped the lounge up right after I left? You must have gotten in a lot of trouble.
I only wish you could have seen it, lad. The place looked like a vineyard after a typhoon. Your Lord Father was livid, but he never gets so angry with the dog. Poor Dusa, though, she's picking the place up.
Oh no. I wonder what became of Dusa. She's always worried Father's going to fire her, even without something like this.
You'll get the hang of it out there, lad. For all our sparring practice, there's no teacher like the real thing. Now then, I have something for you.
What, wait, you're giving me your codex? I can't accept something like this.
Please, I insist. I want your love of history to grow, not just your love of warfare. Besides, maybe you can finish out the rest of it.
I'm grateful.
You have a worried look about you, lad. Spare me your thoughts.
Oh, it's just... I met the goddess Demeter out there. The blessings that she offered, they just drain the heat and life from everything. I thought she saw to fruits and grains and vegetables and such. Not that I'm complaining.
All gods and goddesses are to be feared. Demeter, she has the power to give life, or take it. Seems she's more interested in the latter, though. She's the eldest on Olympus, and your father seems to harbor a particular dislike for her. I don't know why. Be careful.
I will.
I saw your father storm out of the house in his regalia, so he must have confronted you himself at last. I see that must have not gone well. You were so close.
Well, at least I know who will be waiting for me the next time I climb all the way to the Temple of Styx and manage my way out.
Don't lose heart, lad. I did not train your father, only you. He is a god, but he is just a god. If you'll forgive my bit of treason there.
Just a god. Hey, Achilles. Look, this really isn't much, but here.
This really is for me? You beat me to it then, as I had meant to give you this when next we spoke. Please, take it.
Thanks so much, sir. Achilles, sir. There's something I've been wondering about your codex. The words are yours, and yet it's through my actions that I'm able to absorb them. Is that how mortal scriptures always work?
Ah. You have to understand, lad. I've been here in your father's realm for quite some time. My documented learnings became bound to me, much like this spear, you see. You can undo those bindings over time. Thus, my knowledge can be yours, whatever it amounts to.
Achilles, sir. I got a relic of some sort out there. A globule of ancient blood which formed after I fought with Megara. Is this really the Titan's blood I found?
As far as I know, yes, lad, that it is. Though whose exactly, I'm not so sure. You'd best hang on to it and keep it safe. Your weapons, they shall thirst for it and drink it up. Not yet, perhaps, but soon.
Well, I wasn't about to drink it. Hey, look at what I got out there, Achilles, sir. A vintage bottle of Ambrosia plucked straight from Elysium. I hear this stuff is very good, but can't even open it. I've no idea what to do with it right now.
The drink of the gods. I hear it's good, all right. But only for recipients with whom you're close. Perhaps hang on to it until it's ripe for use? Somebody will be grateful, I am sure. Or it could fetch you something from the wretched broker over there.
Sell it or keep it, huh? I found her, sir. My mother, she's alive and well, and... but I just couldn't stay up there for very long. I have to get back to her.
You really made it all the way? You must have gotten past your father. That's amazing, lad. But wait, what was she like? What happened to you there?
She was great. Nothing like father, more like you a little bit, I guess. Though being on the surface, it just seemed to suck the life right out of me. Even without the wretches of the underworld trying to do me in.
But then you had a little time at least. Sounds like you have unfinished business with her there. You got to her this once. Surely you're able to again, isn't that right?
It is. I have to speak with her.
The sealed weapons by your chambers. Your father won't observe their absence, I don't think. They remind him of a time he stood together with his brothers and sisters. He wants nothing more to do with any of that. I think it's fitting you've inherited their power.
Power that once sealed away the Titans. Maybe it's a power that can break me out of here. Thank you for helping me, Achilles.
How did it go, lad? You've been gone a while. For good reason, I hope.
I found her again, sir, and we were able to talk some more. But I have so many questions left for her, and Father's certainly not been of any help.
Well, first of all, good work. I knew you had it in you. Secondly, you know what you have to do. Go find her, for as many chances as it takes. It's not just her you've sought. It's the answers to those questions that you have.
Yes, I will.
So, you can tell me in due time if you decide to, lad. But I do have a question, same as you did, going into this. Why did she leave? Why did she leave you in particular?
It's that she didn't even know I was alive. Sounds as though Nyx revived me sometime after I was born, but by that point, Mother had already left, and they let her be, for reasons I'm trying to find out.
Ah, that's quite a bit to take in there. And it explains more than a bit, I think. Look, I'm not one to speculate too much. I trust you'll find the answers that you seek as you proceed.
Thanks, sir. Hey, tell me something, sir. Any rumors swirling about the house regarding the outcome of a certain interaction I had with my father recently? Involving a great deal of violence? Because I'd like for everyone to know I won.
I wouldn't know of what you mean there, lad. For there are certain subjects so forbidden here right now that not even rumors can take hold. But just between us for the time, congratulations. Truly.
Thank you, sir. I didn't know whether I had it in me. As for the other bit, I'll keep it quiet then, for now. Probably shouldn't be tying my sense of self-worth to praise from friends, acquaintances, and strangers anyway.
What news this time, lad? Did you find your mother once again?
No, I failed, sir. No thanks to Father. What am I going to do?
Just take it easy now. You got there once. There isn't any question in my mind that you can do it once again. Your father's acting as though nothing's changed besides. So don't lose hope. You're capable of this.
I hope you're right.
I'd ask you join me for a drink, lad, but I know you've a task ahead of you, and liquor dulls the senses. Fortunately so, under most circumstances except yours. Leave me to it, will you? And I'll have one for the both of us.
Some other time, Achilles. Just checking in on you, but I'll be on my way again shortly.
Your extended family, the Olympians. They wish to help you from this place, don't they? I just hope that their intentions are as pure as they appear. They don't get on well with your father.
Neither do I last time I checked. I'll take all the help I can get trying to break out of here.
I'm pleased to hear you say that. I've known too many far too proud to accept help, even when it was sorely needed. You just be careful, lad.
Achilles, have you ever run across the shade of Daedalus in all your time? I found some of his legendary hammers out there, but no sign of him.
I've never met him, no. Your father keeps him fully occupied with building out his underworld and renovating constantly. No wonder some of his old crafting tools are strewn about. I take it you've been able to make use of them?
Indeed I have. Achilles, wanted to ask you more about the weapons I've been using. They can change shape, so they've molded themselves to suit me and remember their past wielders, something like that?
Something like that. They seem alive, don't they? Taking everything in. I think they long predate even your father's time. Some have seen many different owners. Chances are you shall not be the last.
In the meantime, I'll take good care of them. Achilles, I need your help.
What is it, lad? What's wrong? What can I do?
Let me in Father's chambers, please.
That's high atop the list of things I'm not to do for anyone, and under any circumstances. What is it you need? I've never even been in there myself.
I don't know, but if I know Father, and I think I do, he's got to have something of hers in there. Of Mother's. She still doesn't get it, doesn't believe me about him, and I said I'd prove it, that he cares for her.
All right, slow down, I understand. Look, this can get me in a lot of trouble like you've no idea. And not just me, so be careful and be quick while he's still out. Take this and go. Don't leave anything there out of place, all right?
Thank you.
For me? I can't accept something like this, lad. You know that.
Come on, Achilles, live a little, such as you're able. I won't tell if you won't tell.
How fare your labors, lad? You have a certain look about you. Everything all right?
It's just, within Elysium, I happened on a shade who said he knew you, said he misses you. Do you know a Patroclus, sir?
What? Yes. I knew Patroclus. Is he all right?
I don't know. He seemed like he's known better times than these. Is there something I should say to him if I run into him again?
Please send him my regards. And all my love. I think of him always, but I cannot see him any longer. And you mustn't ask me why, do you understand? Now, leave me be, please, lad. I need some time.
I take care then, sir.
Hey, listen a moment, lad. I require your discretion with regards to whom we spoke about last time. The shade you met with in Elysium.
I understand. What can I do about this, sir? There must be something. But you have to let me know what's going on.
Simply put, he is the reason that I'm here. Patroclus lost his life before I did, because of me. I shortly followed, in a rage. When I arrived here, I received a hero's welcome. Your father himself ushered me to Elysium. But that's not what I wanted.
You wanted to see Patroclus, but he's in Elysium while you... Oh no.
I signed a pact, lad. Felt the terms were good enough. He could live there, while I'd live here, at least for now. Such deals are most uncommon, and their confidentiality must be upheld. But let's speak no more of this for now, all right? Some other time.
All right.
The heavy sleeping underworld prince arises, with the feeling that the brief nap he intended as a respite from the rigors of the day or night apparently was none too brief at all.
I'm late for work. Father's going to kill me.
Responsibility-rejecting Zagreus strides down his father's hall, quite unconcerned about the urgency with which he is expected to behave under a set of circumstances such as this.
Going as fast as I can, you hurry up.
The door to the administrative chamber beckons just beyond the hall. The prince perchance believes that he may enter quietly, without drawing the notice of those laboring within.
You better not give me away, old man.
Suggest you hurry in there, lad. Talk later. Let's not keep your father waiting.
Sorry.
The day or night's duties are sheer simplicity itself. At least at first, as when the prince simply signs in to signal the commencement of a shift.
Oh, gods.
Get on with your responsibilities.
Security reports concerning failed escape attempts from Tartarus require timely verification and official response, neither of which Prince Zagreus is fit to give. Records of expired house contractor renovations line a desk in the administrative chamber, though the prince has absolutely no desire now to organize them alphabetically by date.
None whatsoever, yes.
Attendance records of the working shades who toil for the house need to be verified. The shades' due compensation rapidly approved, and yet the prince cannot remember all the necessary steps.
I haven't forgotten, no one told me.
The often failing prince attempts to sort the ledgers in the fashion necessary for the proper keeping of his father's realm.
Damn it.
That is not correct.
The hard-laboring shades responsible for the administration of the prince's father's realm merely look on at the prince's ill-fated attempts.
Oh, come on.
Incorrect.
The relaxation-loving prince never paid suitably enough attention to learn properly how to arrange the record bookings of the regions of his father's realm.
Doesn't make any sense.
That's not...
This set of delicate responsibilities is easily achieved, at least by someone capable and trained to do the work, unlike the oft-distracted underworld prince.
What?
Enough, boy. Wrap it up.
At last, the work-disliking prince records a summary of the results of his attempts to be of any use to the administrative needs of his grim father's house.
Okay, I'm done. So, can I go yet, Father?
Not only were you late again, but then you also failed to perform even the simplest tasks that I had asked repeatedly that you complete. How many chances do you need at this? I am too lenient with you.
Too lenient? Instead of lambasting me non-stop, have you considered maybe training me some more to do this fascinating work to your satisfaction? You'll forgive me if I didn't memorize every laborious detail the last time you performed your monologue about how all this works.
Excuse me? If I'm not mistaken, you're deflecting your incompetence toward me? As though the goddess of wisdom herself has come to aid you in your time of need. I could replace you here and now with any number of simple shades hungry to work here.
Then why don't you? I don't want any of this. I'm not the one who drew the short lot with your brothers and got stuck here forever. Why am I having to do this senseless parchment pushing for you?
Why are you stuck? You're not. You're fired. I was wrong to think you were prepared to take on any responsibility at all. And don't you ever invoke your uncles here again, or I'll have you cast into the lowest pits of Tartarus. Now get out of my administration and my sight.
At least I can't be late for that job anymore.
The Queen is back. You did it, lad. You must have lots of catching up to do. Or patching up. And I'm to understand that your escape attempts, they are officially approved, isn't that so?
That's so indeed, sir. Especially for now, at least. I'm going to keep on fighting to the surface. Helps me to vent a bit, and like Hypno says, it makes the underworld a better place. Though indirectly, I suppose.
Well, then I look forward to working with you in a more formal capacity. And it is my sincerest hope that you, your mother, and your father learn to get on better with each other now.
Thank you. It's mine as well.
As you may know, lad, I have a connection to the weapons that you use, having once wielded one of them myself. Of course, not knowing its significance back then, but I digress. Sometimes it keeps in touch, and I have a vision from it to impart.
Oh, do you mean a vision from Varatha, the Eternal Spear? That's out of the ordinary, and also a bit concerning. So what did you see?
Well, I saw a great, bearded warrior, bigger than me, pitch black hair, bearing an aspect of Varatha unlike any with which I'm familiar. Then he was gone, but what still lingered were these words. I see you through the eyes of the Crimson Phoenix.
I see you through the eyes of the Crimson Phoenix. I don't understand. What's that supposed to mean?
There's one more thing. This was not my first such vision. Long ago, I saw one of Varatha's other bearers. It was you. Your infernal arms. They must be weapons of the Fates' design. They know already who shall brandish them. Now they ask a favor. Seek Varatha. Speak the words. Go.
I see you through the eyes of the Crimson Phoenix.
Honored to have met you, great Achilles, our royal guard. Good to know whom to turn to should anything run afoul around here. So it was you who instructed my son in the martial ways.
Indeed, Your Grace. He was a talented student. If only you could have seen his progress, surely you would have been very proud.
I am proud. You know, you were already quite the name back on the surface when I lived upon Olympus. I should think your legend spread much farther still since then.
No, I doubt that. Although, thank you, Your Grace.
You're much too modest, Lord Achilles, for someone with such a number of heroic deeds and glorious decapitations to his name. You ought to be more like ever boastful Zagreus and talk it up some more.
Oh, fear not, Orpheus. I was quite boastful in my day. And would you look at where it got me? Besides, I've not the imagination to come up with tales as tall as those of our Prince Zagreus.
What can I say? I try.
Hold, lad. You've regained access to the administrative chamber, right? I never thought you'd want to go in there again.
Oh, believe me, I don't. But I would like to be able to go where I please around here, and confounding father is another benefit.
Suppose I can see that. Well then, on my quite limited authority, it pleases me to say, you may proceed.
Appreciated, sir. Achilles, if a friend of yours were in need of assistance, but the only way you could assist them was to somehow change the terms of an ancient pact father probably forced on them, what would you do?
I would be very careful, above all. Do you understand, lad? I would not wish to make things any worse. How many pacts such as the one you're thinking of are buried back in the administrative chamber there? Even your father can't keep track. Although, perhaps Nyx can.
Nyx, you're right. She knows everything. Wouldn't hurt to ask her, I suppose.
Just watch yourself. Now this is something, lad. I'd hate to think that you've returned to bring me this just for my sake. Though I'm grateful, really.
You've always been there for me, Achilles. Even when father pushed me away. This is nothing. I don't think I can ever repay you. Achilles, something awakened in Varatha when I spoke the words. It revealed to me a form I'd never seen, wielded by the warrior called Guan Yu, handsomely dressed, and just as you described. That's no Greek name, is it?
No, I don't think so, lad. I don't know who this Guan Yu is, or where he's from, or even when he's from. But the fates must have a plan for him and you. Anyway, I think my part in this is ended. Varatha served you well, no? I trusted it in life. I trust it now. Fear is for the weak.
Fear is for the weak.
Lad, all this generosity, I'm just an old killer. Yet you treat me like I'm the one who's royalty around here. That's about the last thing I would have expected when first I set foot in this house.
You were a great hero, Achilles, and guess what? You still are, and always will be if you ask me. You deserve so much better than just this. I wish there was more that I could do.
Thank you, then, and do not worry about me. I'm fortunate to be here, and besides, a teacher couldn't have asked for a better pupil.
Other way around. I got acquainted with the twin fists of Malphon recently, sir. Fills me with the kind of battle hunger I'd not felt before. To think the empty hand could have as much destructive force as any weapon.
The empty hand has more destructive force than any weapon, lad. It is the only weapon that can wield all others, and without it, all others are nearly powerless. The twin fists are a testament to that. Use them with care. Don't lose your head out there.
Thank you. Wanted to say, the Lady Aphrodite asked that I relay a message to you, sir. She said that she admires you. Mentioned a certain war.
Admires me, does she? Sometimes, lad, I think that Aphrodite is the mightiest of all the gods. Her power is what spurs us all to action, whether to love or war, or sometimes both the two. I'm grateful for the message.
Achilles, I was wondering if you'd split this with me at the lounge. A small excuse for both ourselves to take a break.
Are you most certain you have time for me now, lad? Though how could I decline? I'll see you there. I was a fool, you see. The gods promised me eternal glory beyond death. I could have stayed out of the war, stayed home with Patroclus. I threw everything away, and sent so very many to this place.
What's done is done, sir. In my mind, you're the greatest warrior who ever lived. So is it glory you still seek, or is it Patroclus?
It isn't glory anymore, lad. I'm sure of that. Patroclus, however, I fear he's gone to me forever. Although his shade might yet reside within this realm, we left on terms I'd not forgive if I were him. Though, I had better get back to my post now, I think. I hope I didn't cast a greater pall over this place back there. I'm very thankful that we had this chance to get caught up. Now you had best be off. Take care out there.
Achilles, I ran into Meg's sisters out there. We didn't really hit it off. Meg said they're not permitted in the house. Not that I'm complaining, but what's that about?
They have not earned the right, lad, nor expressed any desire to exist here with the rest of us. Your father has assigned them to specific roles that suit their dispositions. They're not as sensible as Megara, in my experience.
That's what I was afraid of. Although fear is for the weak. Achilles, I meant to ask, did you know that Coronach the Heartseeker once belonged to the centaur Chiron? Because one of its aspects is his own. He didn't have it back when you trained with him, did he?
As to Chiron, truly? Ah, of course. He granted me a spear, I think you know. If he possessed one such weapon, why not more? I remember his bow shined like the sun. It was splendid and never missed its mark, though I attributed that to Chiron's extraordinary skill.
I'm sure his skill did most of the work. Hey, Achilles, I heard from Lady Artemis out there. It seems you have a bit of a fan in her. She wanted me to tell you you're the best. She's not mistaken, by the way.
The goddess of the hunt herself said that? That's very flattering to hear. Good thing she doesn't know I'm all washed up by now. The memories of my glory days.
Achilles, would you tell me something more of Patroclus? You mentioned you were very close.
We could have been no closer. The ashes of our bodies yet mingled together somewhere on the surface there. What can I tell you, lad? I loved him with all my heart. And he left me too soon.
But now you're both here in the underworld. Can't you go seek him out? Or alter your arrangement with my father?
I tried, lad. I have tried. On both accounts. What you propose is not that simple, it turns out. But I shall tell you what. When next you see Patroclus on your journeys, you keep speaking to him for me, won't you?
I'll do what I can. I've had the opportunity to use your aspect of Baratha, sir. So you once wielded it yourself. It fills me with a hunger for battle even more so than usual. A bit of your fighting spirit, perhaps.
Be very wary of that spirit, lad. It was what brought me here before my time. Although that spear indeed once served me well. A parting gift from my old master Chiron. He cautioned me as I'm cautioning you. Though may you be a better listener.
I can't imagine you weren't always a good listener, Achilles. Achilles, I've revealed the hidden aspect of the Heartseeker. Lady Artemis herself told me the words, and it seems Coronach belonged to, maybe will belong to, somebody called Rama, peerless with the bow, even among gods.
Many lay claim to peerlessness with bows in my experience there, lad, although I'm not to judge a vision from an ancient weapon such as that. I hope this Rama shall use his weapon wisely when the time comes, same as you.
I have this feeling that he will.
Thought I'd put in a house contractor order to keep that codex of yours sorted, lad. Now that you know so many on Olympus, Figured it must be a lot keeping track of all their blessings and such.
Yes, that should definitely come in handy, sir. I'm still getting a handle on everything I can do with all the Olympians' powers fused with mine.
Keep at it. Well, look at you, lad, with that codex brimming with our history. I knew I could rely on you to fill it out. Back when I was alive, why, no one would have ever believed what goes on down here.
Mortals must have had their stories, though, about what happens to them once they die and once they end up in this place.
Well, they had their stories, definitely so. They fear your father, understandably. They also fear your dog. But most of them know precious little else. Even their fears, I think, are born of ignorance, as most fears tend to be. In my recent audience with Nyx, lad, she let on that you have mentioned chaos as of late. Is it true you've met her parent yourself?
I have. Chaos is not like anyone I've ever met. At first I was a little worried meeting this vast primordial entity apparently responsible for all creation, but they seem all right. Chaos and Nyx haven't been talking for a while, though. You don't know what happened there, do you?
I know a little bit, I think. Nyx, she and Chaos, they just slowly drifted apart. No animosity, not anymore at least. It happens between parents and children. And once such ties are severed, they cannot always be restored. Especially among primordial gods as old as time, I suppose.
They drifted apart. I found another weapon waiting for me in the courtyard, Achilles. Exogryph. I never entirely believed it was real.
Between us, lad, I wish it wasn't. Was such a thing available to my enemies during my fighting days, I surely would have come here even sooner. But I trust you have the training to use it well. May it serve you as it served the fire goddess Hestia. She hasn't needed it in a while.
I'll use it to the best of my ability, sir.
Hold just a moment, lad. That look. I think I know it all too well. Things getting complicated for you lately, then?
Well, you know, just the usual struggles of battling toward the surface, generally to some ignoble death, though, wait, you mean between me, Meg, and Thanatos, don't you?
If I may presume a bit, I gather that they share by now the feelings that you have for each of them. Each in their respective way, of course. If you love them, one, the other, perhaps both, I mean your gods, follow your heart.
Whoa, just a moment there. I mean, I suppose you're not presuming much at all. Follow my heart, though. Where?
Wherever it should lead. That's how it works. Yours to decide when you've gone as far as you ought, and cease with the lavish gifts. No need to send the wrong impression, and there's nothing to be gained from such an empty gesture anyhow, right?
Right. You're right, Achilles.
How goes it? I think I see that look again, if I'm not mistaken in it, lad. What's on your mind? If you'd like to share, I'm listening.
Oh, it's just... sometimes I find my thoughts, they wander between those I care about. It's not just one. You mortals, typically you had a single suitor, did you not?
So we often told each other, yes. But you're not like us mortals, or us shades. Nor are most of the others here. You gods... I cannot think of even one who had a single mate. Although, your father... maybe he is one.
Wait, you're saying father? He was never with somebody else besides my mother?
Well, I of course don't know so very much about him, lad. But that's the way of it from what I've learned. You needn't follow in his footsteps, though. I think you know that well enough by now.
Hey, Achilles, I uncovered a late passage in the codex with regard to Thanatos and me. It says, you say, you think that I'm the god of blood? I'm not the god of anything, I think.
Oh, nonsense, lad. If you're a god, then you're the god of something, I'm sure. It's just an observation, and I genuinely hope it's no offense. But see, your father and your mother, and your bloodstones and your disposition...
I'm not the god of anything, all right? Wanted to ask you more about Nyx and Chaos, sir. So they just drifted apart. I mean, why not just keep in touch? I don't understand. How hard is it just to say hello from time to time?
It can be harder than you know. For someone like Nyx, She was responsible for no small part of creation herself. As her relationship with chaos grew more strained, she gave birth to strife, misery, doom, sons and daughters you don't hear about too much.
What, really? I've never heard Hypnos or Thanatos mention any of them, let alone Nyx. They sound like a handful. Where are they? What happened?
I don't know, lad. On the surface, I suppose. My point is, Nyx had her own problems to contend with. Dealing with her brood, governing the underworld all on her own before your father arrived. Her relationship with chaos suffered for it.
Yeah, I can see that. Achilles, did you ever used to pray to the gods? Make offerings to them and such back when you were alive?
Prayed mostly to my mother, lad. I always had my doubts the gods were listening, that they could even hear. Though I suppose that if you make an offering, they might be so inclined, just for the moment anyway. They're helping much.
They're helping, definitely, sir.
Prince, I don't wish to presume, lad, but you seem more glum than usual. What's weighing on you there, if you don't mind?
Oh, it's just... I've never slain a living creature, sir. Until my recent journey to the temple up above. I know they're just satyrs and vermin, but it's not the same as sending wretches to the depths.
Look, all mortal life is fragile. It simply is a struggle to survive. Sooner or later it fails to succeed, and then it ends up here. And we have room enough for everyone. Even the satyrs and the vermin of the world.
Now that you mention it, I have to say I'm glad we can accommodate all former living things. And at least mortals get to rest assured knowing what happens once they die. Must really ease.
Indeed, lad. Lad, I heard from Nyx. She said that she was able recently to re-establish contact with chaos, thanks to you. You're just full of surprises, reforging old bonds between primordial gods like it was nothing.
Oh, just took a bit of tampering with the sigil in the admin chamber. Whole bunch of darkness, too. But I could tell that Nyx and Chaos, they seem to really miss each other, to the extent they are able to miss anybody.
I think they're plenty capable of missing their loved ones, lad. The amount of time that either of us have existed, it's nothing compared to either of them. Imagine being apart from someone you care about for that long.
I couldn't stand it.
Be strong.
Achilles, sir, you happen to know whether Father authorized the transfer of a Macedonian Tau Lambda chariot to Elysium in recent memory? I ran into the former hero Theseus all joyriding about in one of those.
I know the chariot you mean. It's not just any Macedonian. It's modified, apparently by Daedalus himself. No earthly weapons can do what it does. Though, please don't tell me Theseus put on that mask.
What, you mean the golden matching mask? I saw him wearing it all right. Looked like a proper fool, I thought. What of it, though?
Well, I think that Daedalus would certainly agree. Heard that he fashioned that mask and outfit as a little joke. For someone deeply prideful and well unaware. It must have suited Theseus quite well then, yes?
That it did, most definitely, sir.
You're back. Meant to tell you, recently I noticed Megara, and I believe I saw the faintest smile play across her lips. That anything to do with you, perhaps? Not asking for specifics, mind.
You really think that has to do with me? I mean, I hope you're right, and I suppose it's possible. It's just, how can you tell?
Perhaps with time I've grown keen to more than just the weaknesses of my enemies on the battlefield. Especially since I don't have those anymore. I'm happy for you, lad. The two of you.
Thanks, Achilles. That means a lot. Hey, sir. Meant to say I hope I didn't get you into too much trouble after letting me in Father's bedchambers.
Think nothing of it, lad. It was a risk I was willing to take. And for his part, the father looked the other way on that one. Though I did not expect you to get free rein to go there as you please.
Mother can be quite persuasive.
Hello, friend. Do you miss it yourself, Lord Achilles, sir? The freshness of the air? The need to have meals several times a day and such?
I scarce remember it, my friend. Although your songs do stir up memories sometimes. I'm used to things the way they are, I think. But you, not so much?
Oh, on the contrary, sir. I am profoundly satisfied. We are most fortunate to have employment even after death. Imagine merely resting for eternity when you could work.
Now that you mention it, I can't. I have to tell you something, lad. When Thanatos returned to seek you out, I was very concerned. Not just for you either. But you've since patched things up.
I think so. I hope so. It was complicated for a while there, but I think things are clearer for us now. Not just in the moment, but in retrospect. I'm not making any sense.
Oh, on the contrary, I think I know exactly what you mean. I don't know Thanatos particularly well. It wasn't he who brought me here, you see. And he was always very busy, like your father. But he always struck me as a decent sort.
He is.
So, lad, tell me then, how went the family feast? Was everything all right?
Well, I confess I was perhaps a little nervous for practically the entire thing, but all in all, I had a good time, and I'm very, very glad it all turned out the way it did. How about yourself?
I quite enjoyed it too. Last time I was invited to a feast, I was still busy warring on the surface. That's how long it's been. I must say, your mother's quite good with words. Had everybody chatting, laughing.
She really pulled it off. But for all her confidence, I don't think she knew she had it in her. Because if she did, if she reached out to Olympus sooner, a lot of things could have been different.
Don't dwell on that. I spoke a bit with Nyx. Your mother had her reasons. No one gets to act on perfect information, right? All we have is what we think we know, and what our conscience tells us. Your mother got to where all this was possible, all thanks to you.
All thanks to me, sir. I had ample help along the way. For instance, I could not have done it without you. Would have been using an old chair leg as a weapon, I suppose.
And what a fearsome chair leg it would be. In any case, you heading out there soon? Olympus should be more than happy to assist in your security review, if that's what we're calling it now.
Yeah, I should go. I'll see you not too long from now.
And you in turn.
You have to tell me more about this pact you signed, Achilles. You and Patroclus. So you're doomed to never be together then?
You must safeguard the details of it, lad. Although it's not as bad as you make out. I ensured Patroclus is provided for. We wouldn't have been together anyway. Initially, he wasn't sent into Elysium, you see.
There has to be a way for me to make this right. Not just for him, for you.
You've other pressing matters to attend to, lad. And Patroclus and I have ample time to wait this out. I know you mean well, but do not discuss this matter with your father now. I fear that it could make things worse. Do you understand?
I do, I think.
You raised him well, O Knight. You know that, I hope. Though I can't imagine even you could have expected this outcome. Thank you for making all this possible. For all of us.
You are to thank for this outcome as much as I. Perhaps more so. For I have little choice but to serve this house. I was created in this realm, and it is everything to me. But you, your loyalty could not have been assumed.
Oh, I don't know. I felt I had no choice either except to serve this house. At least at first. But in training the prince, preparing him, I felt like I was living for something again. As strange as that may sound.
Nevertheless, given the circumstances of your life and servitude, you need not have given so much of yourself. The greatness of your mortal days followed you into death.
You are most kind, O Knight.
Achilles, now that I have access to the administrative area again, I've access to the archives, and I have some authority to void those under certain circumstances. So about your pact.
I know you mean well, lad. And from the bottom of my heart, where once it was, I thank you truly for the thought. However, don't exert your influence on this. Not now, at least. The fates can twist intentions. I don't want to take the risk.
You're sure? Well then, I'll wait. But I am going to ask you again. We have to find a way to fix this. Patroclus is waiting. The fallen warrior in Elysium we spoke of. He seems like a good man, though. Was he always the despondent sort?
No, lad. I was that sort, I think, but he was not. He was one of the only men I knew who did not look upon me as a threat. He saw something in me I never knew was there, and in turn, with him, I felt... how to describe it? Calm. Whole.
Huh. I'm restless all the time. I can only imagine.
He had this wry humor about him, like he was wise beyond his years. A quality I trust shall see him through his struggles now. Although, I hoped residing in Elysium would mean he wouldn't have to struggle any longer.
He shouldn't, sir. And neither should you.
The house is secure, lad. Go.
Thank you, sir. I know that it's a painful subject, sir, but can you tell me what exactly happened in the war that claimed Patroclus and yourself? He brought it up. Said you refused to fight.
Until he died. I did refuse to fight until he died. But at that point... Look, lad. If we're going to discuss these matters, best we do so in the lounge, not here. The fool of a king I served. I'd never take up arms for him. But Patroclus, he always had a different way of looking at things. As I refused to fight, he rose to the occasion, took up my armor, led my brothers into battle in my guise, fought nobly. But then he... well...
And after you found out, you sought vengeance for him. Took vengeance.
That I did. They got me finally, of course. But not before I broke them first. The war soon ended after that. It is an awful contradiction that to quickly end war, one need only extinguish many lives at once. I had not realized it at the time.
Did you allow yourself to die so that you could see Patroclus again here?
I don't know. Maybe. I only know that I was filled with rage. Rage that subsided soon after I arrived here. I felt empty. I never saw Patroclus again. But I learned my brothers honored my last request, as my ashes were laid to rest with his. Anyway, appreciate the drink. Suppose I'd best be getting back to standing quietly about. Though that war, lad, don't ask me about it again. All right?
Of course. Mother. Achilles, sir. I've uncovered the hidden aspect of Stygius. Nyx gave me the words this time, and a vision of a noble leader among mortals. An entire armored legion of them. Arthur was his name. Will be his name, I guess.
A future leader among men wielding that blade. The mysteries of the infernal arms run deep, don't they? Although it seems that you and Stygius formed quite a bond.
Must be the regular feedings.
Be well. I'm so impressed with what you've managed to accomplish, lad. When I was closer to your age, or the age you appear to be, all I wanted was glory, to be remembered forever. Look where that got me. I'm glad you know better than I did.
So in pursuing glory, you think you lost it? Forgive me here, but I just disagree. I settled a family squabble. You single-handedly turned an entire war.
A foolish war. Glory comes to those driven to excel in worthwhile pursuits. A happy side effect, not a goal unto itself. Though you don't need for me to tell you that.
If not for all your training and advice, I wouldn't have come this far. You prepared me for this. Wasn't that a worthwhile pursuit? Must mean you got some glory after all then, right?
Well, you got me there. Hail.
The Bull of Minos led me to another hidden aspect, Achilles. A beastly form of the twin fists belonging to an ancient god king known as Gilgamesh. You ever hear that name? He had a half-beast friend, apparently. Like how Asterius is friend to Theseus.
Gilgamesh, you said? That name isn't familiar to me, but with these hidden aspects, there's bound to be a connection to the future or the past. Say, why is the Bull of Minos aiding you? I thought he was one of your rivals, barring passage from Elysium.
Oh, he is. He's loyal through and through to Theseus and never holds back when we fight. But he seems to be the respect for his opponent type, unlike his companion.
I know the type. Both types. Mistakes are opportunities for learning, lad.
All right, I'm off.
If ever there's something I can do, you need but ask.
Well, take care.
You've returned. How is he anyway, if you've encountered him of late during your journeys, lad? The fallen warrior you've run into in Elysium, that is.
He's doing relatively well, I think. There's a lot you've told me that he didn't know about what led up to his present circumstances and your own.
You told him then? Without requesting my consent to tell him first? What exactly did you say to him?
Achilles, I'm sorry. I just told him about your ashes being intermingled, that whole thing, and about the Pact. You told me once to send him your love and regards. This brought him no joy, only questions. You told me not to speak to Father, not to him.
You're right, I should have specified. Or shouldn't have. Because what you said probably is for the best. I didn't mean to lose my temper with you, lad, it's just... Look, thank you for looking out for him. For both of us. Just please be careful.
I swear I will. I have a message for you from the fallen warrior over in Elysium, Achilles, sir. He simply said to let you know to risk it all.
To risk it all? He said to risk it all?
Yes. Is there something significant about that phrase?
When last he said to risk it all to me, I didn't listen to him then, but should have. I should have.
He's asking you to take another chance.
No. He's giving me another chance, I think. Leave me, lad, for now. Thank you for telling me. A word, Prince? I need your help with something, lad. As I'm about to risk it all, I think. Will you hear me out?
Of course, sir. What is it? I'm listening.
The pact I signed with your father. It must be buried somewhere down in the administrative chamber there. I dared not ask that you locate it, out of fear that tampering with it would only make things worse, except
that fear is for the weak, Achilles, sir.
Indeed. Besides, your father has been more abiding than I expected with how you were able to nullify the terms for Orpheus and Sisyphus alike, so perhaps my case isn't a lost cause yet.
I'll speak with Nyx about it the next chance I get. And I'll be careful, sir. I promise you.
You have my thanks.
Shortly before you do.
Experience is the greatest teacher, lad.
Take care, okay? I'm working on trying to find your pact, Achilles. Just need a little more time to sort it out.
I've nothing if not patience, lad. And I shall try to keep my hopes in check. Thank you for your effort around this. When next we speak of it, may be when you've succeeded. Oh, there you are, Highness.
Achilles, your pact with Father is officially amended, sir. Specifically, it no longer has any stipulation barring you from entering Elysium during the indefinite term of your employment. On my authority in the name of Hades. Thank you for your service.
What? Are you... You're serious? I'm able to go. You're right, I feel it. I'm unbound. So I can simply leave right now.
You can simply leave right now. And might I add, it's about damn time.
I should get going then, although I'm unprepared. I didn't think it would come to this. Not that I had no faith in you, it's just...
Incidentally, there's this one glade out in Elysium I highly recommend. Go to him, sir. You've waited long enough. Fear is for the weak.
Fear is for the weak. Farewell for now, lad. I can't thank you enough.
Farewell for now, sir. Hey, that's Achilles, isn't it?
Were it not for you, Pat, I don't even like to think about what I'd have done. The war would have gone differently then, I suppose. Why, look who. I thought we might run into you, but how strange to see you face to face out here, lad. To see this place myself, I still can't quite believe any of this.
He really can't. Though I keep telling him it's true. Nothing's accomplished without risk, isn't that so? But we of course have you to thank, stranger. Our troubles needn't have been your concern.
Nonsense, sir. You're my friend. And Achilles. I don't know where I would even be if not for you.
Well, no need to get emotional, is there? We Myrmidons, we're not the sentimental type. Achilles is simply on break, is all. From a demanding job. You've a demanding job as well, so here, my customary gift.
Achilles.
How goes it?
Sir, you're back. How was it in Elysium? Was everything all right?
It went well, lad. As well as I could have hoped. Better than I might have feared. Hey, don't take Patroclus calling you stranger personally, all right? He has less charitable terms for those he doesn't care for.
Come on, Achilles, I want details here. What happened with you two, if you don't mind?
Haha, well, thankfully, your efforts meant that no words really needed to be said when I arrived. He simply said my name. Then we just were. Two souls, together in one spot. The way shades linger. It looks mournful, right? But it isn't always.
That's wonderful to hear. He seemed uplifted in your presence. You must have lots of catching up to do.
Lots of making up for lost time. And finally we have some time to spare. It's odd, because so many of my memories of him are from a time of war. Now we can make new memories, in peace. Anyway, see you out there again sometime, I hope.
Count on it, sir. Achilles, next time you're in Elysium, I thought this might be something you'd enjoy, that you might share.
Ambrosia. Well, I'm honored, lad, truly. Although it's I who ought to be bestowing thoughtful gifts upon you for what you've done for me, not the other way around. And I happen to have one here, on Pat's and my behalf.
You have a chthonic companion, and you're giving it to me?
I've nothing left to teach you, lad.
It's hard to think of anybody more deserving of this than you, sir. So when next you are off duty, or whenever the occasion warrants, please enjoy, all right?
I suppose this must be what it's like to be a god, lad. Being shown affection such as this. And getting offerings. Are you quite sure?
Oh, I'm absolutely positive. I would never have been remotely prepared for everything I've had to face if not for all your guidance. And I don't just mean the violent stuff.
Come now, lad. Admittedly, I was quite good at it, but I was nothing other than a killer. I would be wary of all my advice if I were you.
See, that's why you give such good advice right there.
Well, if it isn't the ward of Achilles, come to visit us. I don't know how I can ever repay you, stranger. I'm quite sure that it isn't possible.
I reached more or less the same conclusion, Pat.
How about you just keep offering me those premium goods you have no interest in when I pass through, and we can call it even, sir?
That I had plans to do regardless, though if you should think of something else at any point, please do let either of us know.
Here, sir. To you and to Patroclus. May the remainder of eternity more than make up for everything it took for you to come this far.
Oh, thank you, lad. Prince. Zagreus. You really oughtn't to have. In fact, I shall accept this from you once again, but not a bottle more.
Really? I mean, I meant no offense, of course. It's just, I thought you enjoyed this stuff, no?
We do enjoy it, quite a bit, in fact. But in Elysium, it's something to be earned more than accepted, and, well, perhaps in being there, a bit of our old pride is coming back.
Well, good. You have much to be proud of, Achilles. You're a great warrior, a great instructor, great friend.
If indeed I've something to be proud of, lad, is that someone such as you can say a thing like that to me and mean it.
I mean it.
I understand the terms of your employment have been altered in my name, Shade. Be grateful that you lack the standing for such changes to require my personal approval. Though you remain in my employ, correct?
As far as I'm aware, yes, Master. I'm sworn eternally here to this house, except it seems I'm now at liberty to see Elysium from time to time. While off duty, of course.
How lenient do they make these pacts today? You are off duty now, is that not so? Go then. Take advantage of the added benefit.
Yes, Master. Thank you.
Sometimes the law is not so bad.
I cannot ever repay you for what you have done, O Knight. Know only that it is my honor to continue to serve at your pleasure here.
I am certain I know nothing of what you mean, Achilles. Though your continued service here is more than welcome. The honor is mine.
Thank you, O Knight.
Come now, I don't think that. Achilles, look. Good. There you are, stranger. Settle something for us quickly, hmm? Would Achilles not make for the perfect champion of Elysium? For I think almost anybody would be better than the current one.
I think I'd rather maintain watch over a nearly empty hall than battle all the shades around here, Pat.
I too would vastly prefer having to contend with Theseus rather than yourself, Achilles. Although that's not to say I disagree that almost anybody would be better in the role than him.
It seems then I am overruled. But I know champion material when I see it, and I see it now.
Highness, you have this, lad. The fates be damned. Go forth, lad, and do as you must. Ready yourself, lad, and give it another attempt.